Okay, now that we've gone over geopolitics, perhaps where it matters most, let us look at how this relates to conceptions of manhood, why this is happening. You basically have guys on the right who want white supremacist conceptions of manhood to be elevated above everyone else. Historically, we look at John Wayne. This was even what Wikipedia gave the example of John Wayne and Einstein in terms of conceptions of manhood. It talks about cultural conditioning, socialization, and things of this nature that contribute to conceptions of manhood. Now, certainly, they have something called hegemonic masculinity. It has to do with hegemony, cultural imperialism, forcing their conceptions on everyone else. And imagine the kind of cowards that roll with it. Obviously, if you roll with your oppressor, your mass-murdering rapist, killed your people oppressor's conception of manhood, let's face it, you're a bitch. You know, you're doing what a female would do. That's the difference between a man and a woman, is the female submits to men, right or wrong, naturally, okay? Where men are fighting over how things should work, and some people insist on the highest scale of morality, which is the highest scale of manhood, which goes back to virility and virtue, vir being the word for man. So man, the highest version of being a man, has to do with virtue, and the highest form of virtue is insisting on the divine order, everyone given their rightful place naturally, which is the most scrupulous way to be a man. The highest form of masculinity is the martial art order, where where is the ideal man. Where is an old English word meaning adult male. It also comes, they also used to use the word man, M-A-N-N, which was also used for unspecified genders, where we get the idea of human and so on, mankind, okay, man, but it was also used as such, right? The word man is a gender-neutral term from Old English, M-A-N-N, which was derived from Proto-Germanic, M-A-N-N-Z, and there's Indo-European connections, manus, and so on. Okay. So ultimately, it's strange. When it comes to language, it does seem to start with Indo-European, but in Western culture, it does seem to be truly embracing that point in history of being a man, the idea of being a man. So people have revisionists in their cultures that are avoiding these ideas. So at the end of the day, the idea of a man in Western culture is not really a man. It is somebody in a female spirit on the right, and somebody who is bisexual and transgender and so on, cross-dresser, etc., on the left. This is, this is their conceptions of manhood. Western conceptions of manhood is one of the major problems in the world, and it is also why the Millennium Project failed. It is also why $2.3 trillion was all but wasted instead of effectively distributed in Africa, which isn't very hard when you have all the most powerful countries in the world doing the distributing. How hard would it be for them to tell the local warlords, you better not? You know, how hard is it to do that? You know, people think that, that these guys are going to say, you know what, fuck you, come over here and do that and fight with us. They know damn well that they'll get invaded. Don't let the invasion of Iraq fool you, okay? Local warlords are scared to the death of the idea of the West coming in and giving their enemies the upper hand and wiping them out. They know that's a distinct possibility. That's why they're playing ball. They knew they were allowed to misuse the funds, and because they had shared cultural values with the Western crony capitalist scum. Okay. So, again, don't forget the idea of manhood, masculinity, virility, and virtue. Vir being a word meaning man. In Dante's Inferno, we see that they say the mind is a place of its own. These guys are psychology, mind control bitches. And they're basically saying, hey, if we can convince people that we're men, okay, from this kind of satanic Dante's Inferno perspective, okay, that basically for all intents and purposes, quote unquote, right, we are men. So they can convince you that feeding your own race and your own people and your own family to the New World Order to look good makes you a man. Or sparing your family while you feed your people to the New World Order and everyone else and all the other poor and vulnerable people makes you a man, right? And it also goes back to bullying, right? This is like a little kid's argument. A little bully in school, a bunch of bullies picking on some geek, okay? That makes them a man, right? They don't want to see someone like me because I'll fucking kill him. But picking on some helpless geek makes them a man. Picking on some crippled person in their mind makes them a man, right? That is Western conceptions of manhood in a nutshell. A bunch of out-of-touch, weird Ku Klux Klan members hanging a black martial artist, 50 to 1, makes him a man. Gang stalking, psyops, picking on one guy makes you a man. You know, it's stupid, right? Raising a bitch who doesn't date a hero but dates white-collar criminal scum that kills their own people makes her a woman, and she helps convince people that he's a man, right? The woman is perceived to be the referee by people who don't know any better. In reality, the top martial artist is the only true judge of a man. He is the ideal man. His opinion is the only one that really matters, okay, when it comes down to it. When there's any kind of dissent, the top martial artist with no ill-gotten gains makes the call. And I've already overkilled why I'm the top martial artist. Look, I have a playlist dedicated to it. Do your research. If you don't know about me and you're a martial artist, shame on you. You know, you're basically bowing to bitches who keep you in the dark, who know very well about me, and your whole system's a joke. Anyway, for that reason, for nothing else. So we basically have people who pretend to be men saying things like, that is wrong. You know, no, that's wrong. But in the face of adversity, right? That's a form of manning up, but using what scale? Okay? If you're trying to restore the divine order and you say that's wrong, then that's a form of manning up. Okay, now let's look at logic here. There can only be one versus all. Are all Africans equal? Are they all capable of the same physical prowess? Is a Somalian, for instance, as athletic as an Igbo? Is he as smart? Does he have the same culture? Has he had the same culture for a long period of time? Do they have the same reproductive cycle? If they don't have the exact same everything, including DNA, really, how can they be the same? All Africans aren't the same. They're not the same intelligence. They're not the same, they don't have the same spiritual systems. They don't have the same spiritual worth. There's got to be one tribe that conquers them all, and you're out of touch, you're an idiot, you're a fucking moron if you have done research to figure that out and you haven't come up with the Igbos. Now, I'll put this on the 7 minutes. The Igbos are Africa's most brilliant race. We look at, I've done videos where I show you Nigerians are disproportionately educated compared to every other group of people, and so on and so forth. They're not successful because we must consider obstacles. I think I brought up in the other video, obstructing justice, you know, is a crime, okay? But obstructing the black man's justice is okay. That is the general rule of thumb. Yes, there's exceptions when the guy is a gay liberal bitch. You know, he's kissing. If he sucks off a liberal Jew, for example, you know, you can't obstruct his justice if the Jew says, hey, you know, I've got his back. If he eats a white feminist pussy, okay, and she's rich, okay? She's a Walton or some shit, okay? She's a bitch, okay? She's a rich bitch. And she says, I have his back. You can't do that, okay? If the black man insists on being a hero, by all means, obstruct his justice. He's making us look bad. He's challenging the order of things, which is a eugenic order, which places every race above his. He can't do that. He has to be the slave to some liberal bitches and some Masonic little pussy, some fucking coward, no heart at all. He has to be a complete disgrace to ancestors and suck off the people that have betrayed him and his people most, and God most, in order to be given some kind of bootlicker's pittance in regards to justice. Disgraceful. The rightful place argument. What happens if people acknowledge, hey, you know, if there's an argument going on and they say the Igbos are Africa's best. In fact, the Igbos are the superior group of people in the world. What happens? Who's going to agree with that? Okay, Igbos themselves are bootlicking cowards. No, we're not that smart. No, that was an exaggeration. Oh, yeah, I kind of got a good laugh at that. I'm a bitch. No, I continue suck dick. I'm a bitch, you know? Yes. That's how it is. Because the Igbos that are bitches, are elevated above the ones that aren't, or that are less bitch. Period. That's how it works with every group. There are no exceptions, especially in the most proficient group. The group that are the most proficient at martial arts. Obi Essence, right? Obelisk, Obi All Ask, the black belt, Kuro Obi. Obi meaning man, meaning heart, temple, king in Igbo, right? And of course, I've definitively connected my line to the dark-skinned Japanese martial artists that brought them up, put them up on game. Anyway, of course, the Japanese are very proud people, for better or worse, to be diplomatic, and they are going to roll with the white-skinned argument and the kind of Eurasian supremacy and so on and so forth that we see with the white Jews as well. All right. Where it matters most. You know, it's not everybody's a bitch, but, you know, pretty much everybody but me is a bitch. We won't get into that. All right. Accept sabotage by bully. Okay, so basically what we see historically in this country is especially is a bunch of fucking people who are out of touch with reality, delusional, sick in the head, violent psychopaths, and kind of meddling witch kind of bitches, you know, as far as their personality and their culture, right? They drug people, they poison people, Tuskegee experiments, right? They give people diseases on purpose, on record. The history of unethical and non-consensual experimentation in this country is not a conspiracy theory. It's a well-documented event. We have psychiatrists themselves reporting on the CIA doctors. I mean, it is, you're an idiot if you don't see it that way. You're a moron. If you need to read this book to think that the government uses psychiatry to oppress people, you're a fucking idiot, okay? If you think that you need to read this book to possibly fathom a connection between the intelligence community and this process, you're a fucking dumbass. I have no time for that stupidity. All right. So the main groupings of tactics used by people, Uncle Toms from their respective races, to sabotage their own people, to keep their own people down, is sabotage. Okay, this is what you would expect. When somebody has a superior argument and you have a larger group of people with an inferior argument, okay, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to sit there twiddling their thumbs like, oh, he's right. You know, no, they're not going to admit he's right. Why are they making the argument in the first place? Especially if this one is obvious as this one. Okay, look at the mind, body, and soul of Igbos. They have outperformed definitively every other group of people on the planet. Okay, they are from the most stigmatized racial group and from one of the poorest nations in the world. How the fuck do you think it plays out? You look at sports, you know, Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson, blah, blah. They can make some phony DNA. We all know that the majority of these star athletes are related to the millions of Igbos that were taken as slaves during the transatlantic slave trade. Okay? One of the groups, there's like two groups of martial artists that are the bell that rings the loudest. You know, they're the Igbos and the Angolans. And then there's a significant gap, then it's the people from Congo. Number one, there's tons of Igbos, there's tons of Angolans, the Capoeiras, the Leopard Society, right? It wasn't the Capoeira Leopard Society, it was the Igbo Leopard Society. And the Igbo Leopard Society has to do with the cat, the leopard of Heliopolis, and the leopard. And then even in Shaolin Kung Fu, you have the five animal styles, you have the panther, which is basically a black fucking leopard. The Black Panther Party in America, right? Was it the Angolan Society? No, they were trying to usurp this idea of making a different form of this kind of Igbo idea. And of course, Igbo backwards is Obi, and Obi means king and hut and temple and heart, and the heart was the seat of intelligence in Egypt. So when we look at it in terms of obstacles, you know, how the Nigerians are the more, you know, last time I checked, you know, they're the most educated group of people, and of them, it is the Igbos, okay? Again, going back to 7 minutes, Africa's most brilliant race, right? The most brilliant race of the Nigerians. You know, these other guys, if anything, are holding them down to a certain degree. They're not getting as educated, and so on. If you took the Igbos as a group themselves, you would see that they significantly outperform people. And of course, Martin Luther King looks dead on like my uncle. His picture's on the wall, really, right here. And of course, the printer, you know, they hacked my printer and made it come out purple and all this shit. They're trying to make me look gay. I will never be gay. I'm not gay. You know, if I was gay, I would fucking tell you. I wouldn't give a shit. I say, look, that's what it is. Okay, I'm not gay. Okay, they do harass me. They do give me a hard time. Trannies do catfish me. Okay, they do try to play me out. I don't give a fuck if every day, you know, I was under mind control and sucked off by a different tranny every day. You'd be a dumb fuck not to see it my way. I am the hero. I can do no wrong. My rightful place is to be the most powerful person on the planet, to be the pharaoh. Okay, there is no woman that can honestly say that she's too good for me. You know, if I raped 1 million women in my lifetime, obviously the fault would be on them. Why do I feel the need to do this? Right? Obviously it's mind control and sabotage. Obviously my needs should have been addressed. It should have never been an issue in the first place. Okay? How do you make the most righteous man, you know, if the most righteous man is doing something wrong, okay, and you've denied him his rightful place, the determinant is society. It is the saboteurs. It's insane not to see it that way. I can do no wrong. Ra protects me from all attacks by my enemies. Spiritually, I'm good. There's nothing I can do wrong. That's what that means. It doesn't mean that I can't be hurt. That's why the people's duty is also to love and respect me. And I've gone over that time and time again from this book and this story. Even in the later dynasties, the Middle Kingdom, the New Kingdom, they understood that. Okay? This guy can do no wrong. Society is wrong. Women are wrong. They should be ashamed of themselves. They should all be sterilized. They should all not have any kids because they are unworthy vessels. It is not loving your child when you are a despicable, hero-shunning harlot having a kid. if you truly loved humanity and your children.